The Passion of our Lord Jesus Christ according to John. With these words we have just heard, St. John shares his account of Jesus' passion, his account of God's great love. Of course, it is not the hot and fiery love we have so often come to celebrate in American media, as if righteous anger is the epitome of holy love. Rather, today we witness a love that is unmoving, that is unwavering, so steadfast as to be unshaken even amidst the greatest of storms and travesties of human history. But I've gotten ahead of myself. You see, John's account isn't simply the account of the passion of our Lord Jesus Christ. It is also simply an account of human passion. While every story told of Jesus' life contains a variety of participants, even the vast multitudes, the number of active participants in any story is rather limited. Usually there's Jesus and the disciples, a recipient or a conversant, and on occasion an antagonist to create a conflict. And while the crowds are there, they are little more than bystanders, witnesses to the drama unfolding before them. Not so today. Here in this story, we have an entire cast of active participants. Judas and Peter from among the disciples, Caiaphas and Annas and the priests of the temple, Pilate and soldiers from among the Roman authorities, a few unnamed bystanders warming themselves by a fire, and 2 criminals crucified beside Jesus. Even the crowds and passers-by get in on the action. Of all of the stories of the Gospels, the Passion, as the account of Jesus' betrayal, arrest, trial, and crucifixion comes to be called, has more active participants than any other single story. And through each of them, we witness human passion in many of its forms. There is, of course, Judas, selling his friend Jesus for 30 pieces of silver because money is more valuable than the way of love. And there is Peter in the garden selling Jesus for a sword because the way of violence is more valuable than that of grace and suffering. There are also Caiaphas and Annas, and all the priests of the council selling Jesus over to Rome because a subjugated status quo is more valuable than the risky work of liberation and peace. And the crowds, with their complacent eyes and loud cries of "Crucify him," sell Jesus to the authorities because experience tells them that it is they who will pay the price of any insurrection or threat to the powers that be. There is Pilate, too, washing his hands of the whole thing, ambivalently selling Jesus to death because anything else might cost him the seat of honor he has finally attained. And there are also those soldiers spitting and mocking, scourging and nailing Jesus to the cross, selling him too to death for stable pay, better than the crowds at least, and a higher seat at the dinner table, and, to an especially lucky one, a new tunic for his shoulders. In their own way, each of these has revealed a singular passion. To a one, they have all proclaimed that their life, their comfort and place, their ideas and ideologies, their profit and their security was more valuable than the life of Jesus. And so they each in their own way and in their own turn, with a kiss or a sword or an averted eye or a loud cry, sell him amongst themselves until the final horrid fate upon the cross. But theirs wasn't the only passion on display. Against it all, through it all, John reminds us of the humbling passion of Jesus, the glorious passion of God. For in contrast to Judas and Peter, in contrast to Caiaphas and Annas and Pilate, in contrast to the crowds and soldiers, Jesus reveals his passion, a passion not simply for himself, a passion instead for them, his neighbors, and his friends. Here, with each progressive betrayal and dismissal, Jesus reveals his unwavering love for all who stand along the way. Judas' false kiss is met with a genuine kiss of peace. Peter's cutting sword is met with Jesus' healing hand. The twisting and turning adoration of the crowds and centurions who had once come seeking Jesus is now met with the steadfast mercy of Christ. The ever-dominating peace of Jerusalem and Rome, marked by Caiaphas and Pilate, is met with the eternal humility of Christ. So unshakable is Jesus' love that it bears the hard wood of the cross out of love for them all. Out of love for Judas and Peter, out of love for the crowds and soldiers and bystanders along the way, out of love for Pilate and Caiaphas and the Roman and Jewish authorities who have come together in their respective palaces, out of love for the world, for you and for me and for all. Jesus' passion was not hot and fiery, nor was it loud or bombastic, but it was and remains steady, unshakable. So unshakable as to reveal an eternal truth of God. Two passions are on display today. We must choose which of them is holy and which of them is true. In the end, we must also choose which passion to pursue.